So we're going to find the standard deviation of this probability distribution. And of course, yeah, I could do this all out on paper, but spreadsheets make the math pretty easy. So, and I'm not going to ask you this on an exam, okay? Just so you know. I mean, you will have to do the mean of the probability distribution because that's the expected value. And for binomial distribution, because that formula is pretty simple. This is a little more complicated, but you've done the math already. Remember when we found standard deviations before, we've had to find the mean, and then we did the value minus the mean. Then we had to square that difference, and then we had to find the sum of all those square differences. And then when we did groups data, we had to multiply that. We had to multiply for each of the differences. We had to multiply by their frequency, like how many times that happened. Okay, and then we divided that by n minus 1, the total number, the frequency minus 1. And then we took the square root. Now, for a probability distribution like this, the frequency is the probability, and we don't have to divide by anything because that's already taken care of. The probability is a quotient, right? We've divided by something to get there. So we don't have to do all that work for it. So, but what we can do is this here. Let me get my clicker back here. Now I'm going to copy, paste these things right down below so I don't have to retype those. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the x minus the mean. And remember, the mean is we multiply the x times the probability of the winnings times the probability of it happening, then find the sum. So for this distribution, the mean is 1.75. So, oh, I see, I put that in the wrong row. Let me miss that and get that fixed so I don't do that. So I'm going to do the mean, the 0 cell, minus the 1.75. And I could go click on that 1.75, then I'd have to lock it in because that's a nice number. I'm just going to type it in. And then Google Sheets should fill it in for us. Okay, so that's the x minus the mean part. Then we're going to square those. So let me square this. Here, I'm going to do this as a person. I'm doing this for us as a human being. So I know what this is. And then I'm going to do equals this difference to the second power. Unfortunately, it follows the order of operations for us. I don't see how it filled anything. Oh, it did. Okay, good. And then I got to multiply each of those by the frequency or the probability in this case. So Control C, come over here, Control V. I'm going to do times the frequency or times the probability times P of X, all right. So equals the probability times the mean difference. Yeah, this my computer is acting up here today, isn't it? Come on. There. So now I'm going to do the sum of all of those. Oops. Equals sum. Now that's the variance once it loads here. And then I'm going to take the square root of that. And we get 1.219. Just a minute here. Let me go make sure I'm not going to share anything confidential, and I'll double check what my math's saying. Okay, so I went up to my math and the spreadsheet calculation that agrees. So I hope that helps, and don't sweat it if it doesn't. As I said, I'm not going to make you do the standard deviation of one of these regular probability distributions.